All right, this is Trevor back with, I guess this is my third video, my third restoration video. And this time I picked a Matchbox mid-80s Rolls-Royce Silver Spirit? I don't know. I picked it because it looks a lot like the Bentley Mulsanne Turbo, which, as a James Bond fan, when I was trying to find a Bentley Turbo to do in British Racing Green so I could do a James Bond book tribute, couldn't find one. But, you know, I'm American, so I don't know much about British cars. But doing a little internet search, I found that apparently this Rolls-Royce and the Bentley are the same car with a different grille and a few different options and whatever. So, yeah, we're going to do this one up in British Racing Green, 1980s James Bond style. We're going to carjack it out of there. This is a little bit out of order. Some of these shots are going to be a little out of order, so I apologize for the Quentin Tarantino cut. But there it is. So, yeah, let's dance into the fire, because 80s James Bond stuff. It was I think it was hard to get this thing open. I did not drill the rivets out, Well, I feel like I didn't drill them out more than I needed to. So I did a little vibration going on just to get it out of there. Had that flat metal spring in there. I do see that some people remove the metal spring, but I did not remove the metal spring. Pulling the grill out, pulling the interior out. The interior's got some rust where that spring was. Got some, crusty white aluminum, oxidation or something. The windshield is not scratched. It's in great shape. It's dirty. This is the first model I think I'm taking apart that has, doors. But there it is. There's all the parts. And there was a novel written by John Gardner in 1984 called Roll of Honor. And in this James Bond book, James Bond inherits some money from a family member and decides that he's going to buy a car. And he buys the Bentley Mulsanne Turbo. I hope I'm saying that right. If I'm not, I really apologize to all my British friends that I'm insensitive to the the way these things are pronounced. So here we're going to drill out the posts. And I was watching James Bond movies with my dad as a teenager or even a preteen. And just I've always had like a kind of almost lifelong love affair with James Bond. It's fascinating, obviously, as a guy. The guy lives a mysterious life. So everybody starts out with the movies, right? And at one point in time, I started reading the books. Started with the Fleming books, and then went with the continuation novels. And we argue all we want about the continuation novels maybe not being so great, but John Gardner did write a few good books in the mid '80s, and I think Roll of Honor is one of them. I mean, he's being chased by the new head of Spectre. This car is prominent in the book. I mean, I don't know, it like makes the book. So here's the car all torn apart. Like I said, I drilled it out, before I took it apart, but it's not like that in the video. This is some recycled footage, but the Rolls-Royce was in there. But this is the first time I'd ever done a caustic soda thing. Used lye, as it's called. You will see the red at the top here. I think that's the red from the Rolls-Royce. It was pretty successful. I did a bunch of cars at the same time just to, not waste it. So here's a shot of what a real, mid-'80s Bentley would look like in British Racing Green. The book describes it as being British Racing Green. These kind of have these round headlights. It says it has a magnolia interior in the book. And, I guess I didn't really know what that meant. So you'll see me prime the interior. Here's one with composite headlights. I don't know whether that was an option to get composite headlights on the Bentley or sealed beam circular headlights on the Bentley. I don't know. Raymond Benson, who was the guy who followed up John Gardner in the 1990s, also gave James Bond a Bentley Turbo R in 1998. And that car, again, it's like the same body style. Like, obviously there's some upgrades that I wouldn't know about. But, I found some shots of the interior just from a generic Google search just to kind of, I wanted to paint the interior right. There was actually an edition of this book, not released in America, but it actually has a picture of a Bentley on the front cover. It's not British Racing Green, which, I guess say what you want to about the cover of a, mass market paperback novel. But, it kind of shows that car, again, being featured pretty prominently in this book. Here's all the cars that I had done in that lot of cars, and the Bentley's on the left there. Or sorry, I guess it's a Rolls Royce, but it's kind of towards the left there, and the doors are sitting there and stuff. Here we're going to clean it up with my Harbor Freight bootleg motor tool. It's 1 speed, but I bought these little brass wire wheels to do with it. This casting was in pretty clean shape. It was not bent. I mean, it was super play worn. But when I got a hold of it, I was like, yeah, I could definitely do this up. And I guess I'm not super happy with the end results. You'll see that in a little while. It's not the greatest restoration I ever will do, but I wanted to kind of do a very first tribute to James Bond. I think Bond cars are cool, especially in the movies, but in a literary sense too. He drove some cool cars, and the book describes this as being a very large car and a fast car, and there it is. Here we are priming the base. Tamiya ultrafine light gray primer. I did not take the suspension spring out. You can't see it in the car, so I felt like it wouldn't hurt for there to be a little bit of rust there. So I did prime the interior, and the funny thing is I primed it and then started looking up what magnolia as a color would be, and turns out it's the same color as the plastic casting was inside this car, so I didn't even need to paint it at all. I did wash all the plastic parts. I guess I don't know if I filmed that or not. Here's me priming the doors. On the right there, you'll see the most of the parts to this car, and on the left you'll see the doors and another car that I did. Oh, I guess I did shoot me cleaning up the plastics. So we just used a little Dawn soap, and I think that's the grill. I guess I sped it up too fast. I can't see anything, but I mean, it's kind of boring watching me wash parts, so I can't be too mad at myself about making it go quick. Here's the interior itself, and the interior was in really bad, like dirty shape. It had a little rust on the bottom from the spring. It had a little something like white powder on the inside. I don't know, where that came from. Here we are painting the base of it gloss black, because that's what color it was. And also the bumpers of the car are part of the casting, so I couldn't, well, it's not that I couldn't just leave it bare metal. I just didn't think that it needed to be. Here we paint the door, the doors, the first shot of British Racing Green. I got Tamiya British Green or something like that, gloss spray, and I can't say enough good things about the Tamiya spray. I mean, it just it really goes on good, and it dries nice, and it looks good when it's done. Here we're going to do the body of the car. And what I really like about British Racing Green, even though I'm obviously an American and we like cars being painted black and whatnot, or red, I guess, it looks different in different lights. Here I put the doors on, and I'm going to hit it with another coat of it just to make sure that the doors get the uniform coat of paint, so that there's no discrepancy. Here we re-chromed the grill with a Molotow pen, and did the amber signals with a Sharpie. Here I am painting the interior. Apparently what I find to be the closest thing, little tester's thing, to magnolia, as I looked it up on the internet. But like I was saying about British Racing Green, one of my favorite things about it is in different lights. I mean, it can look almost black. It can look very rich green, or it can be this kind of mysterious, deep, dark, green is kind of what it is. But there it is. And so we'll do more James Bond cars in the future. Actually, a lot of the cars that I've drilled out, a lot of the cars that I've paint stripped, a lot of the cars that I've planned are ones that I've collected. I keep saying and I apologize for that. That's rude. cars that I've collected over the years that are actually James Bond kind of related, cars that he would have driven in different movies or featured in different movies, and or the books. And yeah, so, you know, as an American, I guess we're going to do a lot of British cars. Hey, whatever. So this Matchbox casting was available throughout the kind of late 80s. It says 1986 on the base. And most of them were this kind of dark red like the one that I have. I think there was a different color option too. It didn't seem like it was that rare. Like once I figured out what it was and went kind of looking for one, I didn't want one in mint condition because, again, I wanted to paint it green. But finding this car, I felt like was a cool find because I've read that book a few times. And then the car is actually also featured throughout 2 or 3 of other the following follow-up John Gardner Bond books. So, you know, the Bentley man. Here I'm rechroming the bumper again. We're a little out of sequence, but there it is. Now it looks like it's kind of blobbing on there, but I promise you that if you're not experienced with these Smoloto chrome markers, it settles into that grill detail ridiculously easy. Here I am doing the tip of the wheel or the axle, and then I did the wheels. I have so much memory of like 80s Matchbox vehicles having this wheel, the little 8-dot deep dish kind of almost like a rally wheel, and I really like that wheel. Like it brings back memory. So I had no reason to replace these wheels or try to, you know, quote unquote upgrade them or whatever. Here I'm doing the tail lights. I base coat it with the chrome pen on the signals. So I guess that one picture of the signals that I had done is pretty far out of sync. But I shot a lot of footage for this, so it was it was kind of hard to get it right. Here's the back end of it after I had colored it in with orange and red Sharpie markers. I don't remember if I clear coated it after all this. I think I did with probably Tamiya Clear, but I know I didn't film that part. Footage is not available. Here I am drilling out the posts to tap and put the little baby screw in there. There's vise in my basement, so that works pretty well. And this casting, the posts were nice and fat. And here you saw me tilt the drill a little bit. I was trying to center it to get that hole in the middle of the post so that I wouldn't blow the post out. I've done that to 1 or 2 of them already, so I'm gonna have to get some JV weld and get that right. But here's the post after post drill, and in good shape. You can see the doors are reassembling on there because the door spring is sitting in there now. Here we're gonna tap out the hole with a little baby tap. I think I used a little chapstick on the end of it. I'd seen people oil it, and I just couldn't find any multi-purpose oil laying around the house, so I used a little bit of chapstick on the end of the tap. But I did find some oil for future videos, meant for guitar tuners, to lubricate guitar tuners. Yeah, you heard the eBay bell there. Don't know what I just sold or bought, but there it is. At this point, I've talked so much that I feel like I'm speechless. I have nothing to say. My self-professed love for 1980s James Bond. Dun 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 dun. Super excited that Duran Duran are nominated for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Not only because they did a James Bond theme, but they are one of the greatest British rock and roll bands of all time and one of the greatest bands of the 80s. So even if you don't think they're rock and roll, I do. Got the little button head screws, little Torx bit, Allen bit, putting it together. It went together real smooth. I will say that getting it together is kind of wonky. When you see the post photos here in a little while, you'll see that the fit together was not perfect. So we went from this. We started with this, a lot of play wear, to being disassembled and primered out, to being painted British Racing green. And here we go. One that's in good condition. This is the first one that I ever bought when I first found out that Matchbox made one, and here is the finished product. Again, not perfect. Can't lie, not perfect. But tan dashboard, brown dashboard, because I found that a lot of them must have a leather dashboard, a dark leather dashboard. But cool car. Here it is with two other British Racing green. These are Aston Martins. Here we are with a couple other Bond-related cars. Living Daylight's car, Aston Martin V8, and a Saab that we're going to do up like John Gardner's original James Bond Saab. But yeah, I got to say I'm happy with it. I think it turned out okay. It'll sit on the shelf. Restored vehicle. Done.